So yesterday the string got cut off because of the music. I'm going to try to put another music today, but I'm probably I'm gonna put the music that I usually put, and it seems like that there isn't a problem. Uh, I was playing new music, so I think that the system on YouTube cuts off the string. So I'm gonna try to put the music that I normally use, and then after that I'm probably gonna remove the music for the string. I'm just gonna listen to the music myself. But what I'm gonna do today is just to continue to study the project that I was studying yesterday. I was waiting to see if it's streaming or not before I start. Yeah, it seems like it is not working. So maybe I'll have to cut the string. I think I'm gonna try to go on the go live thing. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Not sure what's going on. Maybe it's my internet. It does look like it is streaming now, but there's a delay. So maybe it's my internet. And now it's cutting. So it looks like it is streaming. So I'm just gonna keep going because there's nothing I can do about it. So if it cuts out, then I'll just upload the video later. Or it looks like it is disconnected now, reconnected. Maybe it's the internet. I didn't change anything, so I'm not really sure. I mean, I wasn't playing any music, so yeah, but whatever. So what I did here so far is, so I was trying to make it work with the Unix makefiles, the build, but then I remember that the library is gonna be annoying because it's supposed to only work with Windows. This library here to create the user interface. So I ended up just leaving like the way that it was before. And then I asked ChatGPT, and I put this stuff here because the command that they recommended to run wasn't working. Not really sure why. It seems like it just ignores the flag variable you passed there. Is this toolchain variable here? And then it doesn't work because it doesn't find the CMake file from Conan. And so the first command I wrote down here, the first command you run with Conan is this one. And this one installs everything and sets up everything at the beginning. I still don't understand the fundamental things of how it works, and that's kind of annoying, but there's not much I can do. So yeah, it seems like this initialize everything, then it depends on which folder you put here, and it's just gonna create a build folder in the beginning because I'm passing build here, and that creates all the other CMake files that are gonna be used when you run the CMake command to build everything. So after you run this command, you have to build the CMake as you usually do without Conan. And that's gonna run the CMake file we have here on the main directory. So I'm running this on the parent or the root directory of the project. And this command, so you specify where you wanna build, which is gonna be on the folder that you created here. And then the target, which is the root of the project, the path. So it's this dot here. And that's, I still don't know what happens under the hood, but I know that it just runs the code, whatever code you put here, and then it's gonna run all the codes that you have on here, I think. This based on this thing here. So that's the thing that I found from ChatGPT. That I was trying to do like this, but then this flag variable doesn't work. So ChatGPT recommends you put this thing here and another thing that wasn't working, so I just removed. But what I assume this does is just includes the other CMake file when it's running this one. And this CMake file is the one that has the configurations for Conan. and then it runs, it sets everything up. But if you're generating everything with the Unix make files generator, so just pass the G flag and then you specify which generator you're gonna use, so it's kind of like different modes of compilation. Each generator is gonna have its own like specific things, I think. So if you run with the Unix make files, then it generates a make file, and then you run. The way you run is you have to call the make command, and the make command is gonna run whatever code you have inside of the make file. So it generates a make file in the build folder, then you run make, and then it runs whatever code it was created on the make file. And then out of that code, you're gonna get the executable. But if you're running from the default generator on Windows, which is gonna use the Visual Studio generator, MSVC, I think, which probably uses MS-build, which is just another way to compile. It generates other files. So it's kind of confusing to me, but then I figure out that you have to run this command after you build everything. And this one is the one that actually gonna generate the executable. And I tried to run them at the same time, on the same line, and I did like with this as well. But it doesn't work. It seems like you have to first build, then you have to build again and specify the type of config is gonna be, and then the target, which is the name of the executable that is gonna contain the final code. And then based on this, it generates this executable here on the release folder. And I assume that you can do different types of configurations based on whatever you're doing. So I think for debugging it's probably gonna be one. And then for actually executing it's gonna be another one, but I'm just gonna go with this release. So after you run the three commands, then you can just call the file, or you can just play here on VS Code, and then it just runs the whatever file you have as the one selected, I think. Yeah, it asks. So I think when you run from here, it just executes all the commands that I just showed there. So it seems like it is working, and it's outputting hello world. So what I'm gonna do today is just study the other project, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can use the library to generate or to open the GUI, the user interface, using this other library. But I prefer to... I'm gonna have to spend a bunch of time studying to see what is the best way to compile for both Windows and Linux would be better, I think. But then we have to change the Conan stuff. So yesterday I think I'm gonna close. Guys, disconnecting the thing. I'm just gonna keep going, but it is kind of annoying. So yesterday I think I was studying this stuff here. I'm gonna... Yeah, what I'm gonna do is just follow the execution of the other ones, see if I can understand what moments is... I know that it's gonna call this function here, so I need to see here. So seems like it's probably this one is gonna initialize the GUI. Maybe I should try just to implement this one like directly on the thing, on the main, on the other project. It looks like this is the dear IAM GUI that the ChatGPT recommends for Linux as well, so maybe it should be working. Yeah, one thing that I can do is just download this code and then try to... I don't like having the dependencies. Hey, what's up? Because then obviously it like takes your control. But if you download the code, then you have to maintain the code, so... I think that the reason why it's not finding the other ones is probably because the header files are. This is another thing that I don't know very well. Where does Conan installs the everything? So assume that these functions are from, which is kind of annoying to be honest, because then I can't look at the source code from the library, so it's kind of like a black box. Obviously, I can look at the documentation, but the problem with the documentation is that usually it doesn't have. Like, the explanations are very simple usually on the documentation. It doesn't tell you how everything's connected. So maybe it is more interesting. So I think I'm just gonna copy this stuff here and put there. But then after I do that, I'm going to see, and then I have to copy the header files. I'm going to see if I can download the library and then try to implement the code from the source code directly. And this is complaining because I think that it's complaining because it doesn't have the path on the configuration. So hmm. Well, this probably comes from the other library. This is one thing that I have to get used to as well. I think that this is gonna be another library as well. I remember, yeah, that I haven't installed. I wanna see if I can install one library at a time. The annoying thing is that I can't see where, I don't know where exactly each function comes from, which header file. So yeah, it looks like. So I'm gonna try to delete. Obviously, if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna find the dependencies on the site and then put them on the Conan file and then do everything again. But hey, what's up? I wonder if it's gonna include everything just based on this, or if I have to specify this one. But I would give a warning on the other ones. You just put on the same. But I don't think that this is a problem. This is gonna... Oh, it works. So it probably was that, the problem. I have to specify the exact folder. Maybe if I put the... Forgot how you say that. Like they star, but there's a name, but I forgot. The thing to replace all the paths. That's whatever. I don't understand how you like it's supposed to work on the other one though. That's what's kind of weird. Because it doesn't specify here. Oh, it's on a different thing. Also, I guess I put on the wrong path. Hmm. So this is supposed to be the variant supposed to be here. So maybe that's why. I don't understand why he puts here though. Whatever. So what is window? It comes from OpenGL. I'm probably gonna have to... I'm just gonna download OpenGL because I know I'm gonna have to use it. So maybe I should try to use it from... I have installed here. Which one of these is the OpenGL? I'm just gonna look at the repository. So it's probably the local one. Yeah. So on this one, the way that he was doing on CMake was by specifying using fetch declare, I think, and then downloading the local repositories. But it's probably better to just put the libraries here. But the only thing that's I don't know is where should I put them? I'm just gonna copy here, and then I'm going to separate the includes. I'm gonna put this here. and then put the source inside of the other one. Yeah, but now it's gonna be a problem because I'm gonna have to. This like I already thought about that it would be like this, but it's kind of annoying because it starts trying to add one thing, then I have to add everything, and then I don't wanna add a bunch of stuff right away because then it's gonna be too hard to understand what's going on. So ideally, I would be able to just add as little or as few stuff as possible. But I probably have to. Like, do I open? Do I copy the examples or not? I'm just gonna delete the examples. Maybe it is useful, but then I can just copy from the other project. So I'm gonna try to do it. So I'm just gonna copy this stuff on the other one. Maybe I'll copy everything and then I just comment the other ones out and see if I can do it. So if this doesn't work here, then I'm just gonna copy the files here to the executable. It's probably better to just copy the files here. This is the thing, is that it's kind of hard because I don't know, and I don't know how to search for this as well. Like, what are the standards? Like, what is the recommended way to organize things? Because my concern is that once it starts getting too big, then I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be a bunch of files here, and that sounds like it's bad. So maybe if I put, yeah, I remember the name. It's wildcard. Maybe if I put wildcards here. I'm just gonna delete the examples and delete the other stuff. So probably just the static. I don't know why. It probably because he meant to use it as a library, but I'm not really sure why he use. Or it's probably yeah, like he was using another command, so yeah, but I'm not sure what this static is supposed to do. So it looks like it is working now. So let me think. I assume that all these files are gonna be to organize everything. So it looks like he's using OpenGL to create the GUI. A combination of OpenGL and the other library. I finished the book on OpenGL, but I don't recommend it. I just finished through. And I have to finish the other books as well, but I don't recommend reading them. I just want to finish now more because I started, so it's still gonna take me 20 hours to finish probably both the books that I have to read. So yeah, I'm gonna delete this stuff here. So I'm just gonna try to compile again and then run. I'm probably gonna run into problems. Yeah, it's undefined. The thing is, I don't know. I don't know if these errors are because the way that the code editor is structured or because the code is wrong. So don't understand what is squiggles. What that's supposed to be. Just wanna remove the thing, but I'm not really sure if it's gonna fuck up everything else. Hey, what's up? So I guess just gonna ask ChatGPT. It's from another project. I don't understand what's HPP is probably because it's C++, so header files for C++. But the thing is, isn't this supposed to get all the header files on the projects? I guess I'm just gonna put here and see if it works. I learned online, I think. Yeah, online. Just I did the Code Academy course, and then watched a bunch of videos and read a bunch of books. But I'm still on the very beginning, so I haven't built anything C++ yet. Squiggles. And so I think that the error squiggle just means something related to the way that it is highlighting the error. I think the actual problem is that it can't find the header, the include files, based on the configuration, which is kind of annoying. But the annoying thing about this is that I'm not really sure if it's the problem with the code or the problem with the setup of the IDE. I guess I'm just gonna try to run again. And see what happens. So probably what's happening is that one of the dependencies depends on another library, one of those libraries. So I'm gonna have to install the library again, or not again, like install all the libraries, which is kind of annoying. So That's probably why it's not finding, because this is the other one there. So I'm probably just gonna have to install all of them, which I wanted to avoid. Obviously, another thing that I can do is just try to, instead of copying this project, just try to. But the problem is, I think that I'm gonna just spend some time. Maybe I'll install all the libraries now, and I just try to incorporate some of the project, but then I start other projects because I still have to study a bunch of things and watch a bunch of videos. So, because the thing about creating from scratch is that I'm gonna have to spend a bunch of time reading the documentation if I'm just gonna use one of the libraries, like OpenGL or the other one. And I think that's gonna be kind of annoying. So it's probably better to do this thing first, then spend a bunch of time watching videos, and then after that, study the documentation from the libraries more, and then try to build a simple. Probably gonna search for projects as well on YouTube from other people. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to install all of the libraries. I'm probably gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to run. So I'm gonna look at Conan again, and then I'm gonna have to look it up, the name of each dependency again on the thing, then put on the Python file, and then run the Conan command again, then build everything, delete the cache, build everything, and then see if I can run after installing all the dependencies. I'm just gonna try to copy from the ones that I have here. Maybe I'm just gonna copy here. The problem is gonna be if I have to install everything else, then maybe it makes more sense to just change the other project, but it's still this problem. Maybe it's one of the header files. It's probably not this one. So, because this warning it should be from the one of the libraries, I think. So if it looks like it installed everything and then it built, so I'm not really sure. I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Uh, Not much about Rust. Then Python, JavaScript, Solidity, a little bit, not that much, and a little bit of C and C++. But just, I have to think. Uh, oh, it's probably because of here. Because I deleted this. Yeah. But if it isn't this, then I'm not really sure what it is. Yeah, but it's probably because of this thing here. I deleted this part because I was thinking about only doing with the IM GUI or however you said it. Hmm. We're just gonna try to build, see if it works. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, it's one of these projects here. So maybe it's because of the CMake. It's probably this one used another library, but it's supposed to. Maybe I didn't put it as a dependency. But it should be the same, I think. Like if it is running, then if it is compiling with the CMake, then I think that all of this, I should have all of this dependency. But I put this stuff there as well. Or maybe it's here. Yeah, this thing. So let me try again. Okay, so at least now is another error. So it's the same file that is complaining on the other one, so it's probably from one of the projects as well. I already looked into this. It would make the most sense that it's supposed to be from one of the libraries, but then why isn't it finding? It's probably something to do with CMake. Discount. So maybe if I delete the build folder and then run the Conan again, because maybe they didn't download the libraries. There's also this other. Oh, this one is because of one of the projects, I think. So yeah, this here. Because I remember having this problem when I was trying to run from the other project as well. And I think that one of the projects that he created doesn't have like this thing here. But I'm not really sure. I think it's because of the way that he did it, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's kind of the problem. So I'm gonna see if I can run it without having this thing here. So this one I think is because for some reason he didn't put this on this project. Or maybe something to do because he was using VC package. So it's something to do with the way the VC package downloads everything. It could be that as well. This is what I mean, it's kind of annoying because if you put a bunch of stuff, then it becomes hard to know where the problems are gonna come from, and then I'm gonna have to deconstruct everything. So ideally, I would be able to just, because I wanna only run the functions that are gonna create the GUI. So obviously in the beginning, and then ignore everything else. So. And the problem is if I comment this stuff out, then I'm gonna have to see everything else. So. But maybe he is using images because the simulation C was creating involve texture, and I'm not gonna use texture. I just wanna open the GUI and see like what's going if it loads anything. So. So what can I do? Let me think. Well, this function obviously is supposed to come from the library there. If it is warning here. I guess I can look from here as well. But I'm pretty sure I saw here, and then I remember I was trying to compile on the other project, and then I was getting the same error, and then I removed the line and got another error. It's gonna be the same thing. Oh, it comes from the... It has to come from the external library, because the name is the same. So the problem is the library, I think. This one, STB. So I'm gonna try to delete the build and then run everything again and see if it changes anything. But probably it won't change everything. I'm gonna have to close the ID and then delete. So I'm gonna delete the build and then run all the commands again and see if it works. And if it doesn't, I'll try something else. could be the version. So one thing that I can do is just look into, like, search for VC package and then try to see if I can find the module in the same way that they have here on Conan, and then compare the two, like see if it's the same. Because it could be that I'm getting a different version here, and then this version they changed something and it doesn't have the header anymore. I'll be right back. It's interesting that it gives me this error and then it keeps going. Also, it has to be the library. Hmm. So this problem is probably because of the external libraries as well. So what can I do? What's the best way to figure this out? Like one of the issues is that I can't. There is no way to know just based on the header files where the functions come from because there's so many header files. I guess I can just based on this is obviously gonna come from OpenGL, but the other one it probably comes from this STB. The thing is I don't understand why it's not finding the files though. That's the problem. Like because if I did everything correctly, and it seems like I did because Conan is not giving any errors, it should download all the files. So it could be this thing here, but I don't see why that would be the case. But this is just the file that sets everything up on Conan. Hmm. I think one thing that I'm gonna try to do is just put this path on the thing there. It's not gonna solve the problem, I think. I can put here as well. But I'm thinking about putting on the settings there. I think the issue is that it's not finding the files for some reason, but this might be because of this thing here. Hmm. So it might be not like a problem with the code. It's a problem with that VS Code doesn't find the files because of the extension and gives a warning, but this I'm not really sure. Like it shouldn't be. I think these two things are separate. It makes more sense for me that they are separate. So like the extension and the warnings are from the warnings are from the extension and they are not directly correlated with the compilation. So even if you get the warnings because the settings are not correct on the extension, I don't think that should just stop you from compiling the code if you have all the libraries. But maybe not. Maybe they are connected. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that this is supposed to come from one of these libraries. And it's shader HPP. Oh, I think this is the problem. So it's not getting this file here. So probably program is a variable on this on CMake. So how do I do this? But maybe that solves a couple of problems, but I think it's not gonna solve the other ones. I have to spend some time thinking about what can be the problem though. And doesn't make sense. Well, the thing that's weird is why this is highlighted on the like a different color. Oh, maybe it's because of the way that it's importing. So this is importing as if it is a relative thing. So maybe if I change, the thing that I don't understand is like this is the way that it's written on the other one. So like it shouldn't make sense, I think. But this is the problem. Yeah. It's not gonna solve anything. So it has to be, the problem has to be because he designed everything to work with VC package and I'm trying to use Conan. That's the only explanation that makes sense. But the issue is that it can be either the IDE or like the way that Conan is installing everything. And this is not gonna fix, but hmm. trying to think about which direction to go with, because I'm not really sure where, like, exactly where the problem is coming from. That's the issue. Like, can be several different things, I think. It's like this is saying that it can't match, but I think both of them, like I have both files and they should have, like this one should have the declaration, the other one should have the, like the only explanation is that the function is from the libraries. So if it's not finding the library, it has to be something related to Conan, I think. So the question is, how does this relate to this thing here? So, but I'm pretty sure that I looked on this CMake file. It could be this thing here. A series public, private. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. So I'm gonna try to create another, or remove the ones from here. I always had a hard time understanding the different specifiers, like both in C++ and now in CMake. Because the issue is that I'm not really sure when to use each thing. And I understand that they are, the purpose is to like hide the code from certain places. But it's kind of difficult for me to understand when to use. But it has to be. The thing is that I'm not really sure, because I couldn't make this work on the original project, so I'm not really sure if there's something else that could be wrong. So what else could it be? I'm just gonna try to run like this. It's probably not gonna work. At this one, I'm pretty sure that I had the same problem on the other one. So maybe if I search for the name, just see what it is. It should come from that STB library. It's part of the STB library. So it has to be something related to Conan. Also, like the thing that I don't understand is why it puts only these ones here and not put the other libraries. So maybe that's the problem. I'm not really sure if it is like this. Like if you always put, I think that the way that you access methods on the class is with these two dots here on C++. But the thing is, I'm not really sure if it's always going to be the same name for both of them. I guess I can try to do that as well. So, yeah, let me think. Or maybe it's because of it's written wrong here. But if that was the case, then it shouldn't work. Like on the other, because I just copied the code, so I guess it's worth trying. And the thing is, I'm not really sure if I should build everything again from scratch. Like delete the build folder and build everything. Same problem. Oh, nice. So that was the error, I think. It's weird that's... but maybe... Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's like, why would the person leave like this, the code, if it wasn't... But it could be just because of the difference in packages and the way that they are gonna find the package. So, but it feels very... It doesn't feel right to me, but maybe... Because like... It doesn't feel resilient. Because it's like a small difference between upper and lowercase, but yeah, whatever. But I'm still getting these other errors here. So they have to be from the libraries. This is the only explanation. I think this comes from this library here. So maybe if I remove the... But it has to be 3 there because it is on Conan. Oh, maybe that's the problem. So it could be just a difference in names. Because VC package declares in one way. Yeah. So I want to see the OpenGL one. OpenGL required. Or maybe I didn't put OpenGL here as well. So I forgot. Because this one was downloading from the other. So maybe, yeah. So let me see. So I think I have to delete the folder again. I'm just gonna try this one, but I probably have to delete the build folder and install everything again, and I have to put this as a dependency. So I think I didn't put there in the beginning because I was trying to make it work with this project, and this one uses the other library. It downloads the other library from. It's because of he did it to work with VC package, so the way that he did it probably he specifies everything on the JSON manifest file for VC package. That's why I think. So yeah, but this is oh, it's because yeah, this is the reason. I copied the dependencies from here. Remember now, but then I didn't copy the ones from the other project. So this, oh, but it still doesn't have the OpenGL here. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's these things here. I'm gonna try to just with the easy thing first, then if it doesn't work, I try the other stuff. So I think what I have to do is just put the OpenGL on the dependencies. So the other one was probably the name on the CMake file. And this one is because I don't have there. So I'm gonna delete the build folder, then run all the commands again. It's kind of hard. I'm trying to clarify as I do this what kind of things I should search for to like study later. But it's kind of hard to come up with questions because this is the problem that I always have with these things is that it's gonna be like the documentation they explain. And I remember reading the documentation for CMake, but I think it's just not like I need to find a question that is gonna allow me to break down and see and understand the fundamentals without spending a bunch of time. That's the problem. Because if I like it doesn't satisfy me to just know what you do, obviously, because then that's exactly the problem with that. It's because like when you encounter these problems, if you don't know what's happening under the hood, it's very unclear like which direction to go to fix the thing. That's the biggest issue. So I don't want to just put this on the, and this is why I'm thinking so much, because just don't want to put these keywords here and then search for this because I know it's not gonna be very clear. The answer is gonna be some frequency in the middle, like when should you use each thing, and it's gonna depend on the circumstance. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's hard, because you need a lot of experience to explain when to use each thing. And the thing that is confusing me the most here is that like it's linking these libraries here, but then it's putting here find package. So like why did he declare just a couple of packages here and then all the packages here? Like shouldn't you put all of them here as well? So this is what I'm trying to clarify. And then obviously the difference, why put private on some of them and public on the other ones. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think we should put private on stuff when, for example, you're going to build the software and you don't want people that are going to interact with the software to have access to the data of the code. So you put private to hide the variables, like. But I'm not really sure. So, and because these are external libraries, like I don't see why that would make a lot of sense, but maybe it does. Yeah, but let's just see if this works. I'll try a few more times, and then if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna study the other codes again. I'm gonna try to do what I said in the beginning. Like just try to run here from this code already. But then, like after I study more, I'm gonna try to. Ideally, I would be able to build a project from scratch without like using as little or as few things as possible. So I can start like from the beginning, like, just follow what I'm thinking about doing. So I want to create a GUI, then after I create the GUI, render stuff with shaders, then like go build up from there. Because I think that's gonna be better to learn, because if I try to put everything together here, it might be more confusing. So it's not finding the GLFW. So I had this problem before I started streaming with another. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was the same message. So it is because of the file here. So let me think. I can put 3 again there. Let's see if I'm just gonna test that first, because it's the easiest thing to do. It doesn't work, I'll think about it. It looks like it works now. This is probably gonna fail. Same file again. I guess this is the problem as well, because I don't like. I'm gonna have to study the project first, understand how everything's connected. Because I don't know if these are from the external libraries or from his code. It looks like it's coming from. It is the file that I was looking at before. This one. OpenGL program. Hmm. Never to match function definition. If it isn't here, then the only thing that makes sense, it could be that this is not a complete project from the repository, or it has to be a function from OpenGL, and that's why it's not finding. Because that project is this one. So it's either the way that I'm setting up the CMake or the way that I'm setting up Conan. It's probably because of I'm installing the wrong thing here. That's probably the reason. So what I was looking at before. I think. Oh, this is the CMake from the OpenGL. I'm pretty sure I put this there. Oh yeah, the dependencies was here. So the only thing that makes sense to me, it could be I put the tree there and then it works. So I think that the problem is not. Oh, but maybe it is because of this. Now that I think about it. So one of the questions, I think one of the problems is this library here. So because now it works, because I put the tree here, but it's probably not the same library. So I'm not really sure why it's working. Like when it installs everything. So this is one, and the other one I think is the OpenGL. But I'm not really sure like how's it. So maybe what I should ask ChatGPT is how does this futures work on the VC package JSON file. That's what I'm gonna do now. Maybe I should focus on the other one first. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT as well what is the equivalent of those libraries for Conan. The other thing I can do is I think that's probably better, like download the libraries locally instead of making them external dependencies. But that's because the OpenGL is probably very big. Maybe that's the best solution though. Hmm. Maybe that's what I should do. Just ask ChatGPT, just put the file, the VC package JSON, and then ask ChatGPT to convert to CononPy, CononFilePy. I'm gonna put some music for myself, and then I'm gonna remove the music from the string. And I'll be right back. So I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna spend because I think I have the right idea in mind. Like the so what is going on here is probably that the names of the libraries are different, or Conan provides a different version of the library or a slightly different version, or slightly different library than the other one, than the VC package puts. So one of the solutions that I'm thinking about is just downloading the library, which I already did, but then I'll download again and put there. And then obviously the annoying part about this is gonna be making it work with the CMake, and I'm gonna have to change things here probably. So the thing that is confusing me the most now is like why put this stuff here, this specify here, and then like put this thing here. I think what find packages does is just gonna search for the packages as it says. But I'm not, I don't know how it works under the hood. And it's probably gonna, so probably the way that it works is that this thing here is gonna call the Conan CMake file. It's gonna run the other CMake. Then this one is gonna have a bunch of code that is gonna create the VSIP package files. And I think this is the where it starts to become different depending on what kind of generator you use. But if you're using the Visual Studio one, it's gonna write the code to create these files here that are gonna contain the information for compiling the code. So this one creates all of that probably based on this code here, and then after it does that, then these commands are gonna search on these files for the packages, I think. But then I don't understand why put here. Maybe it's because like this is for the header. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense either way. Because if I'm installing them, it has to be like the difference has to be because he's using VC package and I'm trying to use Conan. So that's where the differences come from. But I'm trying to understand if the way that I'm doing it makes sense to do it like this, or maybe I should try to comment this out and then see. But I think I have to fix the errors first, try to fix them, and then I can commenting this out and seeing if it works. So I think that what this does is probably maybe I should read the documentation again. But it's just it shouldn't include the header files though, because this is the one that's gonna include headers. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So maybe I should read the documentation again. I'll be right back. I'll try to fix these errors.
Target_link_libraries Pilcro. Contents. Target_link_libraries. Overview. Libraries for a target and or its dependents. Library. Specify libraries or flags to use when linking a given target and or its dependents. Usage requirements from linked library targets will be propagated. Usage requirements of a target's dependencies affect compilation of its own sources. Overview Pilcro. This command has several signatures as detailed in subsections below. All of them have the general form. Target_link_libraries target. Item. The name target must have been created by a command such as _executable or _library and must not be an alias target. If policy CMP0079 is not set to new, then the target must have been created in the current directory. Repeated calls for the same target append items in the order called. New in version 3.13. The target doesn't have to be defined in the same directory as the target_link_libraries call. Each item may be a library target name. The generated link line will have the full path to the linkable library file associated with the target. The build system will have a dependency to relink target if the library file changes. The name target must be created by _library within the project or as an imported library. If it is created within the project, an ordering dependency will automatically be added in the build system to make sure the named library target is up to date before the target links. If an imported library has the imported _no _sign name target property set, CMake may ask the linker to search for the library instead of using the full path. For example, /user/lib/libfoo.so becomes foo. The full path to the target's artifact will be quoted /escape for the shell automatically. A full path to a library file. The generated link line will normally preserve the full path to the file. The build system will have a dependency to relink target if the library file changes. There are some cases where CMake may ask the linker to search for the library. For example, /user/lib/libfoo.so becomes foo, such as when a shared library is detected to have no signing field. See policy CMP0060 for discussion of another case. If the library file is in a macOS framework, the headers directory of the framework will also be processed as a usage requirement. This has the same effect as passing the framework directory as include directory. New in version 3.28. The library file may point to a CF framework folder on macOS. If it does, the target will get the selected library's headers directory as a usage requirement. New in version 3.8 on Visual Studio generators for verses 2010 and above. Library files ending in targets. will be treated as MS build targets files and imported into generated project files. This is not supported by other generators. The full path to the library file will be quoted /escape for the shell automatically. A plain library name. The generated link line will ask the linker to search for the library. For example, foo becomes foo or foo.lib. The library name /flag is treated as a command line string fragment and will be used with no extra quoting or escaping. A link flag, item name starting with, but not or framework, are treated as linker flags. Note that such flags will be treated like any other library link item for purposes of transitive dependencies, so they are generally safe to specify only as private link items that will not propagate the dependence. Link flags specified here are inserted into the link command in the same place as the link libraries. This might not be correct, depending on the linker. Use the link underscore options target property or target underscore link underscore options command to add link flags explicitly. The flags will then be placed at the toolchain defined flag position in the link command. New in version 3.13. Link underscore options target property and target underscore link underscore options command. For earlier versions of CMake, use link underscore flags property instead. The link flag is treated as a command line string fragment and will be used with no extra quoting or escaping. A generator expression. A dollar less than greater than generator expression may evaluate to any of the above items or to a semicolon separated list of them. If the contains any characters, for example, after evaluation of a dollar list variable, be sure to use an explicitly quoted argument dollar less than greater than so that this command receives as a single item. Additionally, a generator expression may be used as a fragment of any of the above items. For example, foo dollar less than 1 colon underscore d. Note that generator expressions will not be used in old handling of policy CMP0003 or policy CMP0004. A debug, optimized, or general keyword immediately followed by another item. The item following such a keyword will be used only for the corresponding build configuration. The debug keyword corresponds to the debug configuration or to configurations named in the debug underscore configurations global property of the set. The optimized keyword corresponds to all other configurations. The general keyword corresponds to all configurations and is purely optional. Higher granularity may be achieved for configuration rules by creating and linking to imported library targets. These keywords are interpreted immediately by this command and therefore have no special meaning when produced by a generator expression. Items containing, such as foo bar, are assumed to be imported or alias library target names and will cause an error if no such target exists. See policy CMP0028. See the CMake build system 7 manual for more on defining build system properties. Libraries for target and/or its dependence GoPro. Target underscore link underscore libraries target private vertical bar interface item private vertical bar interface item. The public private interface scope keywords can be used to specify both the link dependencies and the link interface in one command. Libraries and targets following public are linked to and are made part of the link interface. Libraries and targets following private are linked to but are not made part of the link interface. Libraries following interface are appended to the link interface and are not used for linking target. Libraries for both the target and its dependence GoPro. Target underscore link underscore libraries target item. Library dependencies are transited by default with this signature. When this target is linked to another target, then the libraries linked to this target will appear on the link line for the other target too. This transitive link interface is stored in the interface underscore link underscore libraries target property and may be overridden by setting the property directly. When CMP0022 is not set to new, transitive linking is built in but may be overridden by link underscore interface underscore libraries property. Also, other signatures of this command may set the property making any libraries linked exclusively by the signature private. Libraries for target and/or its dependence. Legacy GoPro. Target underscore link underscore libraries target link underscore private vertical bar link underscore public lib link underscore private vertical bar link underscore public lib. The link underscore public and link underscore private modes can be used to specify both the link dependencies and the link interface in one command. This signature is for compatibility only. Prefer the public or private keywords instead. Libraries and targets following link underscore public are linked to and are made part of the interface underscore link underscore libraries. If policy CMP0022 is not new, they are also made part of the link underscore interface underscore libraries. Libraries and targets following link underscore private are linked to but are not made part of the interface underscore link underscore libraries or link underscore interface underscore libraries. Libraries for dependence only. Legacy GoPro. Target underscore link underscore libraries target link underscore interface underscore libraries item. The link underscore interface underscore libraries mode appends the libraries to the interface underscore link underscore libraries target property instead of using them for linking. If policy CMP0022 is not new, then this mode also appends libraries to the link underscore interface underscore libraries and its for configuration equivalent. This signature is for compatibility only. Prefer the interface mode instead. Libraries specified as debug are wrapped in a generator expression to correspond to debug builds. If policy CMP0022 is not new, the libraries are also appended to the link underscore interface underscore libraries underscore debug property or the properties corresponding to configurations listed in the debug underscore configurations global property of the set. Libraries specified as optimized are appended to the interface underscore link underscore libraries property. If policy CMP0022 is not new, they are also appended to the link underscore interface underscore libraries property. Libraries specified as general or without any keyword are treated as specified for both debug and optimized. Linking object libraries GoPro. New in version.
It's just gonna be the problem that I talked about. Like it explains what it is, but not how it works. So, like as the name, like the name is very descriptive. So it just links the libraries, but like there is no explanation of how does it do that. That's kind of the problem. So the concern that I have is that probably if I download the libraries locally, it's kind of like skipping. I know that I'm gonna face the same problem again at some point. So ideally, I'm able to fix this. Then after I fix, then I can decide whether or not I should download the libraries locally and then just change the CMakes and the includes and everything else to make it work. The problem is these ones I'm not really sure as well. It could be the other library that is the problem. So the main thing that I'm suspecting is that the versions here, it has to be the way that I'm downloading them. That like this is different than the other project that I would get if I use the VC, this manifest file here. Or it could be this. So maybe the question that I can ask is how can I add features on the Conan file? I think that's the problem that I'm having here. So I should add stuff here. So the simplest thing that I can do is just put the whole file here and then ask ChatGPT to convert and just test to see if it works. But I do think that is the way that I have to spend more time reading the documentation as well. So let me see if the other ones have. This one doesn't have futures though. So maybe that's not the problem. It could be the problem with this one, but then this one is something else. Well, that one I fixed was the name. So let me see here. Yeah, so but it's weird that this doesn't have OpenGL though. It's linking from here. Hmm. It has to be. I think that the problem with this one is the futures. That's I'm not. If I just do the way that I'm doing there with Conan, it's not gonna add the futures when I download. And the OpenGL one is kind of weird to me because it's not putting on the VC package, but it's declaring here. So the only thing that makes sense is that the function comes from the from OpenGL, but the declaration is here, but it's a function that's the definition is from the external libraries because otherwise it should be a file here, so somewhere. So and because the file is not here, it makes me think that it has to be, or maybe not. Because maybe that's supposed to be, yeah, but then it doesn't make sense because it's on the header file. But it could be actually. Like this is the declaration and this is the definition. So maybe on this one is something else. But then why would it give me an error? Hmm. Am I yes supposed to have everything? I got this error as well when I was writing Hello World there, and it told me to include this library here. So I'm not really sure. What is going on? Maybe it's because I removed the. But then it goes back to the extension thing. I was gonna say that I removed the VC package roots from the configurations. Because maybe the problem here is that for some reason it's not accessing the standard libraries. But then the warning would be different, I think, as well. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think that this is because of the OpenGL thing. It should be the function that has It is declared there. But it could be because the function uses something from. But that wouldn't make sense. So. Mhm. So what can I do? So I'm gonna search for this to see which project is it from. Yeah, it's supposed to be from IM or EM GUI. I'm gonna try to solve the first one first, the IM GUI. Then I'll see if I can solve the other one. It's probably because of the futures. I'm gonna focus on trying to specify the futures. And that's probably the best thing to do now. Then if that fixes, then I focus on the other stuff. So maybe if I change the generator here, I don't need to put the other stuff on CMake here. I'm gonna leave like this now. I wanna fix the problems first, then I'll think about it. I think that's not. Also, maybe ChatGPT is not correct here. I can try to do it like this and see if it works. It is kind of annoying though to have these warnings. So this is supposed to come from the other. Well, this is coming from OpenJava, which is the other code there. There's something, maybe it's because of the way that I'm putting on CMake there. The weird thing is this errors here. I'm not really sure if it's because of the extension or because it doesn't make sense to be wrong here. So maybe it's because of the extension. I'm just gonna disable the stuff. But yeah. Oh, so this code is different than the other one. So I guess like, when I use fetch on the CMake, it probably does some stuff to the code. And this is the reason why it's not working here. Because this is supposed to come from that class. OpenGL app. Name class window. Yeah, I don't have this class here. So it's something that happens when it downloads the code from. Because the way that I built this one was by. I think I run like pretty much the same commands or similar, but this one is fetching things from GitHub. So this should the libraries here he did it. So, and I think what this does is just downloads from the repository the code. So probably it does something to the code as it does this. Maybe it's this thing here. Because but it should be the same. Oh, this one is the source code. Yeah, it's confusing me because this one here is the one that I manually put here. So that's the problem. Like the one that this project is actually using is inside of the build folder on the dependencies. So yeah, let me close all the other stuff. I'll close all the files so that's not confusing. So this is the thing. I think they are different and it's confusing me because I have this, I manually put there on this project here because I was gonna build on this project first and then try to change it so that incorporates or that I use the source code from the projects instead of downloading them from Git. But then I decided to create another project. That's why it's confusing, I think. This code is the same as the other one, so where is it coming from? Maybe it's on the build? No. Because when I go to the definition there, it shows this path. Or maybe just confusing the. Well, it was on app, I think. Yeah, this one. So build app subject source include. It's supposed to be here. Oh, it's on the another file. Yeah. So it is the same code. Just looking on the wrong thing. But it seems that like it's not finding the code here. So I'm probably making a mistake on the CMake thing. I'm gonna close everything so it's easier to. I'm putting all the. The only thing that can be wrong is this thing here. So maybe I should change the name and see if it works if I change the name. Because it's weird that it's on a different color. But if that was the problem, like the other file is also. I should be finding the definition, and it's not. I have on main. Maybe that's the problem. But I'm pretty sure I copied the headers here. The only ones that I don't have is the range. And it shouldn't make sense because it is from the project there. So what I'm trying to understand is why in one project it finds the window, the definition, and the one that I have here doesn't. This thing here, but maybe, oh maybe it does, and it's just stripping. Okay, so let me delete everything. I'm gonna delete the build folder again, and then try to rebuild after changing the Conan file, and see if that fixes this one, and then I think about this one. So I think that the definition of this is supposed to be on the same file. So I'm not really sure why it's not finding the definition. Maybe there's two conflicting ones. Now what I'm gonna do is delete this thing here. Yeah, let's try it like this. I'm gonna have to close again and then delete. I'm just gonna run the same commands that I've ran the other times. So it looks like ChatGPT, unless I made a mistake, hallucinated there. So I'm just gonna exclude this stuff because I'm gonna study. I wanna finish the books first. That's the thing. So I'm probably not gonna. I wanna finish the books, then I'm gonna, or maybe I will read this stuff before. Like I read a couple of parts of the book that I'm reading now. Then I read all this other stuff here from the documentation again. It is really weird to me. Like I'm grateful that I have this stuff to begin with, obviously, because like a bunch of people worked really hard to create all of this stuff. But it is very weird that someone hasn't built something better still, because it's so much worse than Pip and Yarn for handling packages. The thing is, like, it's very confusing. I don't understand why create another language as well here. Like, why not just do everything on C? It's very weird to me, but whatever. And then here is Python. Like, I understand here, I think, like, because Python is easier, like, but it's still kind of, I don't like it, to be honest. But after some time, I think after I have experience building or working, then it's gonna become easier probably. But it's still very weird. Also, it looks like it didn't do anything. Hmm. Maybe if I change the name again, should use this one instead. The last resort is just to download the library locally and then change everything and see if it works. It has to be on this. The problem has to be this library here because it looks like this file is from this library. Just gonna make sure. It is supposed to be from this GUI library. So do I delete again and then download everything? Because I think that's not gonna fix. It's saying that you cannot open no such file or directory. Maybe it's the way that's. Yeah, but where is this thing being built? So it's saying that the file doesn't exist on the graph VC projects, the file. So it has to be because of the download. That's the only explanation. So yeah, I think it has to be that because like Conan is probably downloading a different version. So I'm gonna try to delete again one last time. Then if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna download the library locally. But it has to be that because it's saying that it's not finding on the VC project file. So that file should be the one that has or has all the files after Conan installs everything. Just running the same commands. It's probably not gonna work. So the other thing that I wanna try, or maybe I should search, is like I should see if I can find all the packages available from VC package, and then try to see if we can find the source code on both of them and compare to see if it's different. It's still not working. So I'm gonna search for the VC package. And browse packages. So it's probably the they are different projects, I think. So the VC one is the one that I was looking at before. Let me see if I can find the source code for this. It's supposed to be the same though. They're both the same. So maybe it's something else. Yeah, now I'm not really sure. Like this one here, and the other one is like here. So it's the same package. So maybe is the futures though? So the futures is like another package. It's not this one, and the file is supposed to be. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the file is on this project, so it should be here. So it could be the way that I'm putting there on the CMake. I'm not really sure about that though. What if I put here as well? It's probably not the problem though. Hmm. And this is also related to the same file. So I think that Conan is the thing that is creating the file. So it has the explanation has to be here. I'm doing something wrong here. Maybe it's the name here. Oh, it shouldn't matter though. I think. Or it could be this thing. So both these problems here come from this file, and this file I think is built by Conan. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that something is going on with this file here, the way that I'm doing this. And then for some reason on these specific ones you can't find the functions. So this one, the declaration exists, and then it can't match the definition. So there's probably, but I don't know like at what point. So there's probably two different declarations or two different definitions when you're supposed to only have one. I have no idea at what point this could be going on. Hmm. Maybe it is because of this thing here. So I guess that's another thing that I can try. If I just like comment this out, but I'm not really sure if it's gonna do anything. Maybe if I comment it out. Now let me try that. So delete again and then run everything again. I think I'm gonna delete the commands for options there because I'm not really sure about them. After I try this, I'm gonna go get some tea. I think it's probably not gonna work. It's probably something else. Yeah, now it fucks up everything. So maybe this is the. But the thing is that I was including this one there before. Because now it's giving this problem. Like it's the same message for the other one. So maybe it's because I have to put them here. Maybe it's because the way that I'm putting this thing here. Because on the other one is downloading from the repository, and this one I'm using. Yeah, I'm including 2 times here, I think. So it could be that. So I should delete this one from here. Yeah. Because I'm already including the directories here. Maybe this is the problem as well here. Because here I have this one. Yeah, but that's. I don't think that's the problem. It shouldn't be that. So probably the OpenGL one was that though. The two definitions. So maybe it makes sense to delete this one. But this one I still don't know the error. So maybe it's the way that I'm adding this. So let me. I think I don't need to delete because I'm just rebuilding. Maybe I should delete the cache and then try. Same thing. Function definition checks this in the range. Yeah, I'll be right back. Not really sure what's I'm probably gonna stop here. Maybe spend some time more because like the only thing that makes sense to me now that's something here, and then I'm gonna have to read the documentation. So I wanna read the documentation only. I wanna finish the books first. Maybe like I definitely wanna finish one of the books first, and there's still probably like 5 or 6 hours to read everything, and then I can read the documentation. The other one's gonna be 12 hours, I think. It's introduction to algorithms. So I'm not really sure because I think that problem. The only thing that makes sense is something related to Conan because it's saying because of the error here. It's saying it's a problem with the file here, so it's probably a problem with the way that is linking everything. So this one is the one that I think is probably the easiest, and this one I have no idea. So it seems to me that it has two different declarations to exist in the as it has two different declarations, and it's supposed to have only one. But the problem is that it's on this file, and this file is probably the one that is created after you build everything. So I'm not really sure. If I go to the place on the file, on the lines there, in the graph, I think it's this one. So maybe the way that I'm adding the include things here, the header files, so OpenGL. Maybe it's because I'm adding, like I should only add once. I'm gonna try to use wildcards, or if I just use like this. I'm gonna try like this first, and then see. So I'm gonna delete the cache and then try to build again. And then the other error is similar to the other ones once I delete it, so maybe it's something to do with this thing here, the way that I'm linking. If I can solve this, then maybe I'll go for longer. Oh, but looks like I'm not gonna be able to. Hmm. So why is it putting twice? The question is, what is the difference between doing this way and doing the other way without loading on CMake? Unable to match function definition to an existing declaration. So that does that mean that the declaration doesn't? Or oh, it means that there's two different declarations, I think. Punjab here. So one is here, the other is supposed to be on 23. Oh, it doesn't have anything here. So it's probably these two ones here. So the question is this thing including again? But I think it's probably not. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe it's Pragma once. I think that's, yeah. Or maybe it could be this, but it doesn't make sense. So maybe it is because it has two different ones here. But what doesn't make sense is why he would do it like this. So obviously what I can do is just delete and see if it works. But that's not very good. So maybe it's something to do with the namespace. That would make sense. Because here is also, I think that I'm adding two different declarations, but I'm not really sure like how. Change the definition to an existing declaration. I'm not really sure if like it is this one and this one or this one. But it should be working like this. Because I didn't change anything from the other projects. Interesting. So probably what's going on is that this is a function from one of the libraries, but so like he's overloading the function from OpenGL, and this is the that's like should work though, because I'm not changing anything. Oh, maybe no, this is from the other one. So let me see the CMake files again. Also, the OpenGL doesn't come from this one. I copied there because of this one. So this one uses the OpenGL package. That it doesn't have here. Or maybe, I don't remember if I deleted it. But I think it's probably not gonna solve anything. OpenGL, OpenGL. Hmm. I don't think this is gonna solve it. I think I'm gonna stop here, then finish the books. Then once I finish the book, I study the. I have to spend more time thinking about it. Like it's something to do with the CMake files here. It has to be that. Like the way I have to clarify this thing here, but I'm not really sure which direction to go to clarify. Like why is specifying here as this, and then also using this thing. The last thing is to delete the cache. Try again. Probably not gonna work. The thing that's kind of annoying is that it could be because of the way that he did the code here. I'm not really sure. Because there are two different definitions. Like one here and the other one here. And they have different parameters. But I don't understand why he did it like this, so. It could be an error with the code, and it could be. It doesn't make sense to be that it would be an error with the code. So it has to be something that I'm doing with the CMake. So for some reason it adds two different declarations when it should only add one. And then I get this one. And this other one I have no idea. This one is similar to the other errors that I was getting once I removed these things from here. Maybe that's the last thing that I should try. Just make this public and then remove from here. And then see if it finds. I'm gonna do everything. Maybe it's not necessary to delete the build folder. So if it doesn't work, then I delete the build folder, try everything again. Then if it doesn't work, I'll stop. I think I'm gonna stop streaming either way, even if it works, because the other problem I'm not gonna be able to solve now. Yeah. Mm. So I'm gonna stop streaming now. I'm gonna finish reading one of the books. Then once I finish reading one of the books, I'm gonna read the documentation from Conan and spend some time trying to figure this out. I'm also like I don't know if it's a better approach to just try to create a project from scratch and not use this one. Just try to implement one library at a time. So I studied the documentation from OpenGL, for example, or for the other one, and then I try to build something from scratch without looking at the code from this project. Maybe that's the better approach because it's just a waste of time to. Because the thing here is that I don't like it would be. I think I have to spend time studying this one either way because it would be good to see how he does it to kind of know which direction I should go with the other one because it's gonna be harder if I try to do everything from scratch. There's gonna be several different moments that I'm gonna have to think about like what's the best design decision to like build everything if I just do everything from scratch. So that's why I think that's probably better to study this one. But the thing is for studying like ideally I would be able to build the other one, like this one, because then it would make it a lot easier to understand how this one works because I would be able to test some code. So I'm not really sure what's the best direction to go. Because it's kind of like a like in order for it to understand this one, it would be better to have this one. But because of these problems here, I don't know like I don't know if this problem is because of the way that he coded the projects he's using. This OpenGL project here, OpenGL app, or if it's because of the way that I'm downloading them. This is the thing. I don't know if it's a problem with the project itself. It makes more sense to me now that is a problem with the way that I'm doing things with the CMake, but I'm not quite sure like why. And it has to be something. It has to be something related to the like the dependencies, the way that I'm installing the dependencies. So I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna look at this, study this upstream. So I'm probably gonna come back in a few days. I'm gonna finish the book first that I'm reading, and then read the documentation. Then I'll go back to this stuff. So it's probably gonna take some time. So yeah, till next time.